Welcome back to class. This is SAB Studios Academy, and I'm so excited you're here for lesson number 4. In our previous classes, we've been building your foundation. We talked about what AI filmmaking really is. It's about control, not shortcuts. We learned about the 5 core pillars that every AI filmmaker uses. And in our last class, we talked about tools, how to choose them with intention, not hype, and how the tool doesn't make the filmmaker, the thinking does. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fundamental, something that will completely change how you create your films. We're talking about camera as the audience's eyes. And here's what I need you to understand by the end of this class. The camera is not neutral. The camera is biased. The camera chooses sides. This is huge. This is one of the most important concepts in all of filmmaking, traditional or AI. Because once you understand this, once you really get this deep in your bones, you will never look at films the same way again. And more importantly, you'll never create films the same way again. By the end of today's lesson, you're going to understand that the camera is the audience's eyes, not yours. You're going to learn why bad films show everything and good films show one thing at a time. You're going to understand how framing tells a story before anyone even speaks. And you're going to learn how to guide your audience's attention like a master filmmaker. This class is going to be practical. I'm going to give you real examples, clear explanations, and by the end, you're going to think about every single shot you create differently. Let's dive in. All right, let's start with the foundation. The camera is the audience's eyes, not the filmmaker's. This is so important that I need to make sure you really understand it. So let me explain it slowly, with examples. When you're creating a film, you might think the camera represents you, the filmmaker. You might think the camera is showing what you see, what you want to show, your perspective. But that's not quite right. The camera is not your eyes. The camera is the audience's eyes. What's the difference? The difference is this. The audience doesn't know what you know. The audience can only see what the camera shows them. The audience experiences the film through the camera. The camera is their window into the story, their only window. Let me give you an example to make this crystal clear. Imagine you're telling a story about 2 friends having a conversation in a coffee shop. You, the filmmaker, know everything. You know both characters. You know the whole room. You know what's happening in the background. You know the past, the present, the future of the story. But the audience? They know nothing. They only know what you show them through the camera. So if the camera is focused on friend A's face, the audience is focused on friend A. They're seeing friend A's emotions, friend A's reactions, friend A's expressions. If the camera switches to friend B, now the audience is focused on friend B. If the camera pulls back to show both friends, now the audience sees the relationship between them, the space between them, the dynamic. The camera controls what the audience sees, and therefore what the audience thinks about and feels. You are not in the scene. You are not experiencing the conversation, but the audience is, and they're experiencing it through the camera's perspective. That's what I mean when I say the camera is the audience's eyes, not yours. Let me give you another example, a simpler one. Imagine a horror film. There's a character walking down a dark hallway. You, the filmmaker, know there's a monster at the end of the hallway, but the character doesn't know, and the audience doesn't know yet either. Now, you have choices. Where do you place the camera? Option 1, you place the camera behind the character, following them as they walk. The audience sees what the character sees. They feel like they're walking with the character. They don't see the monster yet. The tension builds. Option 2, you place the camera at the end of the hallway, facing the character. Now the audience can see the monster lurking in the shadows behind the character. The character doesn't know, but the audience does. The tension is different. It's anticipation. It's dread. Same scene, same story, but completely different emotional experience for the audience, just because of where you place the camera. The camera is the audience's eyes, and where you place those eyes changes everything. So from now on, every time you create a shot, ask yourself, what are the audience's eyes seeing right now, and what does that make them feel?
Now let's talk about the next big idea. Whatever the camera focuses on becomes important. This is a rule you need to tattoo on your brain because it's so simple but so powerful. If the camera is looking at something, the audience thinks it's important. That's it. That's the rule. Let me show you why this matters. Imagine a scene. A woman is sitting alone in a restaurant. She's waiting for someone. The camera could focus on many things: her face, her hands fidgeting with a napkin, the door, where the person she's waiting for will enter, the clock on the wall, her phone on the table, an empty chair across from her. Each of these choices tells a different story. Each one makes the audience focus on something different. Each one makes the audience feel something different. If the camera focuses on her face, the audience is thinking about her emotions. What is she feeling? Is she nervous, sad, hopeful? If the camera focuses on her hands fidgeting, the audience is thinking, she's anxious, she's uncomfortable, something's wrong. If the camera focuses on the door, the audience is thinking, who's coming? When will they arrive? Will they show up? If the camera focuses on the clock, the audience is thinking, time is passing, she's been waiting a long time, is she being stood up? If the camera focuses on her phone, the audience is thinking, is she checking messages, waiting for a call, is the person late? If the camera focuses on the empty chair, the audience is thinking, someone is missing, there's loneliness here, absence. Same scene, same woman, same restaurant, but 6 completely different stories just by changing what the camera focuses on. This is the power of focus. The camera is saying to the audience, pay attention to this. This matters. So you have to be intentional. You have to ask yourself, what do I want the audience to notice? What do I want them to think about? Let me give you another example, a wedding scene. The bride is walking down the aisle. There are hundreds of things the camera could focus on. The bride's face, her emotions, her beauty, her joy or nervousness. The groom's face, his reaction, his tears, his love. The father of the bride, his pride, his sadness at letting go. The guests, their reactions, their tears, their smiles. The flowers, the beauty, the decoration, the romance. The bride's dress, the detail, the elegance. The rings, the symbol of commitment. Each focus tells a different story. Each one makes the audience feel something different. A good filmmaker knows exactly what they want the audience to focus on at every moment. They don't show everything. They show one thing at a time, the most important thing. A bad filmmaker tries to show everything at once. White shots that don't focus on anything specific. The audience's eyes wander. They don't know what to look at. They don't know what's important. The emotional impact is lost. Remember, whatever the camera focuses on becomes important, so choose wisely. Now let's talk about a mistake that almost every beginner makes, and honestly, a lot of professionals make this mistake too. The mistake is this: trying to show everything at once. Bad films show everything. Good films show one thing at a time. Let me explain what I mean. When beginners create a scene, they often think, I need to show the whole room. I need to show all the characters. I need to show the setting, the action, everything all at once. So they use wide shots. They pull the camera back. They try to fit everything into the frame.
And you know what happens? The scene feels empty. It feels distant. It feels like nothing matters because everything is being shown equally. Good filmmakers do the opposite. They choose one thing. They focus on it. They let the audience experience that one thing fully. Then they move to the next thing. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine a scene where a mother and daughter are arguing in the kitchen. The daughter wants to leave home. The mother wants her to stay. A bad version of this scene might look like this. Wide shot of the entire kitchen. You see the mother on one side, the daughter on the other. You see the fridge, the stove, the table, the window, the floor. You see everything. The camera doesn't move. It just sits there, showing the whole room while they argue. And you know what? The audience doesn't connect. They're too far away. They can't see the mother's pain. They can't see the daughter's frustration. They're just watching two small figures in a kitchen. A good version of this scene might look like this. Close-up of the daughter's face. She's angry, tears in her eyes. I have to go, Mom. I can't stay here anymore. Cut to close-up of the mother's face. She's holding back tears. But you're not ready. You're too young. Cut to the daughter's hands, clenching into fists. Frustration. Cut to the mother's hands, reaching out but stopping halfway. She wants to touch her daughter, but she can't. Cut back to the daughter's face. She turns away. I'm leaving tomorrow. Cut to the mother's face. A tear falls. See the difference? The second version shows one thing at a time. Each shot has a purpose. Each shot focuses the audience's attention on one specific emotion, one specific detail. And because of that focus, the audience feels everything. They feel the daughter's anger. They feel the mother's pain. They feel the tension. They feel the love. The first version shows everything, and therefore shows nothing. This is one of the most important lessons in filmmaking. Guide the audience's attention. Don't make them search for it. Show one thing at a time. Make it clear what matters. Make it clear what they should feel. Wide shots have their place. They establish location. They show space and distance. They show relationships between characters and their environment. But they should not be your default. They should be intentional. Most of the time, you want to be close. You want to focus. You want to direct attention. One thing at a time. All right, if this is making sense to you so far, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It really helps us reach more people who need to learn this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to Saab Studios Academy, because we're building something special here. Every week, we're giving you real filmmaking knowledge that you can use immediately. Also, don't forget to check out Saab Studios NG. That's our practical channel where you can see these concepts in action, and grab our free cinematic audio from the playlist for your projects. For all our challenges and festivals, you must use music from our official free playlist. If you have questions about anything we've covered so far, drop them in the comments. We're listening. We will answer you. Now, let's keep going. Now I want to talk about something powerful. Framing already tells a story before dialogue starts. What do I mean by framing? Framing is how you compose the shot. What's in the frame? Where are the characters positioned? How much space is around them? What's the background? What's in focus? All of this communicates meaning. All of this tells a story, even before anyone says a word. Let me give you examples to make this clear. All right, example 1, loneliness. Imagine a character standing in the center of a huge empty field. The camera is far away. The character is small in the frame. There's so much empty space around them. Sky above, grass below, nothing else. What does this framing tell us? Loneliness, isolation. The character feels small, alone, insignificant. You didn't need dialogue to say, "I feel lonely." The framing said it. All right, example 2, power. Now imagine a different scene. A character is sitting in a big chair. The camera is low, looking up at them. They're center in the frame. They fill the frame. There's no empty space. The background is dark. All focus is on them. What does this framing tell us? Power, authority, control. This person is important. This person is in charge. Again, no dialogue needed. The framing told the story.
Example 3, tension. Now imagine two characters. They're facing each other, but there's a lot of space between them. The camera shows both of them in the same frame, but they're on opposite sides. One on the left edge, one on the right edge. The space between them is empty. What does this framing tell us? Tension, distance, conflict. These two people are not close. There's a gap between them, emotionally or physically. The framing is the story. Example 4, intimacy. Now imagine the opposite. Two characters. The camera is close. Both faces fill the frame. They're almost touching. There's no space between them. The background is blurred. We can't see anything except them. What does this framing tell us? Intimacy, closeness, connection. These two people are in their own world. Nothing else matters. Framing communicates all of this. Here's the key lesson. Before you write any dialogue, before you plan any action, think about your framing. Think about what the image alone is saying. In AI filmmaking, this is especially important because you're creating images from scratch. You're describing them. You're choosing the framing in your prompts. So when you write a prompt for an AI image tool, don't just think about what is in the shot. Think about how it's framed. For example, weak prompt, a man standing in a room. Strong prompt,
A man standing alone in the center of a large empty room, shot from far away, showing lots of empty space around him to convey loneliness. The second prompt understands that framing tells a story. Or another example, weak prompt, 2 people talking. Strong prompt, 2 people facing each other with a lot of space between them, shot from the side to show tension and distance in their relationship. See? You're not just describing what is in the shot, you're describing how the shot makes the audience feel through framing. This is advanced thinking, but you can do it. And when you start doing it, your films will immediately feel more intentional, more professional, more emotionally powerful. All right, let's talk about something practical and specific. How do you decide what the audience must see first? Every scene has a beginning, the first shot, the first image. And that first image is incredibly important because it sets the tone. It tells the audience where to focus. It begins the story. So how do you choose? Here's the process I use, and you can use this too. Step 1, ask yourself, what's the most important thing in this scene? Is it a character, an object, an emotion, a location, an action? Whatever is most important should be shown first or at least very early. For example, if the scene is about a detective finding a clue, the most important thing is the clue. So maybe the first shot is a close-up of the clue, or maybe the first shot is the detective's eyes as they notice something. Either way, you're guiding attention to what matters most. Step 2, ask yourself, what does the audience need to understand before anything else? Sometimes the audience needs context. They need to know where they are, who's in the scene, what the situation is. For example, if the scene takes place in a crowded marketplace, you might start with a wide shot to establish that. We're in a market. It's busy. There are lots of people. Then you can cut to your characters and focus in. Step 3, ask yourself, what emotion do I want the audience to feel right away? If you want them to feel tension, start with something tense. Maybe a close-up of a character's worried face. Maybe a shot of a door slowly opening. If you want them to feel peace, start with something peaceful. Maybe a wide shot of a calm motion. Maybe a close-up of a character sleeping peacefully. The first shot sets the emotional tone. Step 4, don't show everything at once. Reveal slowly. You don't have to explain the entire scene in the first shot. In fact, it's often better to hold back information and reveal it slowly. For example, imagine a scene where a woman wakes up in a strange room and doesn't know where she is. You could start with a wide shot showing the whole room, and the audience would immediately know everything. Or you could start with a close-up of her face as she opens her eyes, confused. Then she cuts to her point of view. She sees a window, but it's barred. Then she sits up and looks around. Then the camera pulls back to reveal she's in a cell. The second approach is more engaging because it reveals information step by step. The audience discovers the situation along with the character. Let me give you a full example. Scene. A young boy discovers his grandfather has passed away. What the audience must see first, the boy's face, his reaction, his emotion. That's the heart of the scene. First shot, close-up of the boy's face. He's standing in the doorway, looking at something off screen. His expression is frozen. Confusion, then realization, then sadness. Second shot, what he's seeing. His grandfather lying in bed, still and peaceful. Third shot, back to the boy's face. A tear falls. Fourth shot, the boy's feet, taking a hesitant step forward. Fifth shot, medium shot of the boy walking slowly toward the bed. Sixth shot, close-up of his hand reaching out to touch his grandfather's hand. Notice the order. We start with the boy's emotion. That's what matters most. Then we show what he's seeing. Then we show his response. Step by step, one thing at a time. This is how you guide the audience's attention. Let's get into some practical examples. I want to show you how the camera makes choices and how those choices change the story. Example 1. 2 people talking. Who does the camera side with? Imagine 2 people having a conversation. Let's call them person A and person B. They're arguing. Person A thinks they're right. Person B thinks they're right. They both have valid points. Now, as the filmmaker, you have to make a choice. Where do you put the camera? If you film the entire conversation with the camera focused on person A, always showing person A's face, person A's reactions, person A's expressions, then the audience will side with person A. They will see the world through person A's eyes. They will feel person A's emotions. If you film the entire conversation with the camera focused on person B, the audience will side with person B. If you cut back and forth equally, showing both faces, both reactions, both perspectives, then the audience feels neutral. They see both sides. The camera chooses who the audience empathizes with. Let me give you a more specific example. Imagine a courtroom scene. A lawyer is questioning a witness. The witness is nervous, maybe lying. If the camera stays on the lawyer, the audience is with the lawyer. They're watching the witness from the lawyer's perspective. They're analyzing the witness, looking for cracks, judging. If the camera stays on the witness, the audience is with the witness. They feel the witness's nervousness. They feel the pressure. They might even sympathize with the witness, even if the witness is lying. If the camera cuts back and forth, the audience sees both sides, the tension, the power dynamic. Each choice tells a different story. So when you're creating a scene with two people talking, ask yourself, who does the audience need to side with? Whose perspective is most important? And place the camera accordingly. Now let's talk about silence. Not every moment in a film has dialogue. Not every moment has action. Sometimes characters are just existing, thinking, feeling, being. These silent moments are incredibly powerful, and the camera's placement in these moments is critical. So where should the camera rest during silence? Here's the rule. The camera should rest on whatever communicates the emotion or the thought. Let me give you examples. Example 1. A character sitting alone after receiving bad news. They're not talking, they're not moving, they're just sitting. Where does the camera rest? Maybe on their face, close up. We see the sadness in their eyes. We see them processing. Or maybe on their hands. They're shaking or clenched, or holding something meaningful, a photo, a letter. Or maybe on the empty space around them. The room feels big. They feel small, alone. Each of these choices communicates something different. Example 2. A couple sitting together in comfortable silence. They're not talking, but they're happy, just enjoying each other's presence. Where does the camera rest? Maybe on both of them, sitting close, a medium shot. We see the space between them. There is none. They're comfortable. Or maybe on one person, looking at the other with love, quiet affection. Or maybe on their hands, intertwined. Each choice communicates love, but in different ways. Example 3. A character waiting for something, anticipation. They're silent, but they're tense, waiting, anticipating. Where does the camera rest? Maybe on their face, watching the door. Or on the door itself, we are waiting with them. Or on a clock, ticking. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Silence is filled with emotion, with thought, with anticipation, and the camera guides the audience to feel that. So when you have a silent moment, don't just show the character. Think about what they're feeling and show the thing that best communicates that feeling.
Now, let's talk about something important for AI filmmakers specifically. Some people think that using AI means you have less control. They think, oh, the AI is making the images, so I'm just accepting whatever it gives me. But that's not true at all. AI actually gives you more control. Let me explain why. In traditional filmmaking, you're limited by reality. You can only film what exists. You can only film what you can afford. You can only film what's physically possible. If you want a specific shot, let's say a character standing on a cliff at sunset with a specific expression, specific lighting, specific mood, you have to find that cliff, wait for sunset, hope the weather is right, direct the actor to get the expression perfect, set up the lighting equipment, and hope everything comes together. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, it's dependent on so many variables. But with AI, you can describe exactly what you want and create it. You have control over every detail. You want the character to look sad? You describe it. You want the lighting to be warm and golden? You describe it. You want the camera angle to be low, looking up? You describe it. You're not limited by budget. You're not limited by location. You're not limited by weather or time of day. The only limit is your ability to articulate your vision. And that's actually empowering. Yes, sometimes the AI doesn't give you exactly what you imagined on the first try, but that's true in traditional filmmaking too. Directors do multiple takes. They adjust. They refine. With AI, you do the same. You refine your prompt. You try again. You adjust. You iterate until you get what you want. But the point is, you are in control. You are deciding the framing. You are deciding the focus. You are deciding what the audience sees. AI is your tool. You are the director. Don't think of AI as something that takes control away from you. Think of AI as something that gives you the power to create exactly what you envision without the traditional barriers. This is why understanding concepts like
camera as the audience's eyes is so important, because now that you have the power to create any shot you can imagine, you need to know how to use that power wisely. You need to know what to show, how to frame it, where to focus, and why. That's what makes you a filmmaker, not just an AI user. All right, we're almost at the end, but before we wrap up, let me remind you, like this video if it's helping you, and subscribe to SAB Studios Academy so you don't miss the next lessons. Also, check out SAB Studios NG for practical examples, real projects, and free cinematic audio. Remember, for our challenges and festivals, you must use music from our official free playlist. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. We're here, we're listening, we will answer. Now, let's finish strong. All right, I want to end this class with a mental shift, a way of thinking that will change everything for you. Here it is. If I move the camera, I am moving the audience's attention. Let me say that again. If I move the camera, I am moving the audience's attention. This is the key mindset you need to adopt. Every time you choose a shot, every time you change the framing, every time you cut to a new angle, you are actively guiding the audience. You are telling them, look here now. This is what matters now. You are not just capturing a scene, you are directing the audience's experience. Think about it like this. Imagine you're giving someone a tour of a museum. You're walking them through and you're pointing at specific paintings and saying, look at this one. See the way the artist used color here. Notice the emotion in the subject's eyes. You're guiding them. You're telling them what to focus on. That's what the camera does in a film. It's your hand pointing. Look at this. Now look at this. Now feel this. If you show a close-up of a character's crying face, you're saying to the audience, feel their pain. If you show a wide shot of that same character alone in a huge empty room, you're saying, feel their loneliness. If you show a shot of a ticking clock, you're saying, time matters. Feel the urgency. Every choice is a guide. So from now on, before you create any shot, ask yourself, where is the audience's attention right now? Where do I want to move it next? And why? Be intentional. Be deliberate. Don't just show things randomly. Don't just accept whatever the AI gives you without thinking about what it's communicating. You are the director. The camera is your voice. Use it wisely. All right, let's recap what we've learned today. We learned that the camera is the audience's eyes, not the filmmaker's. The audience experiences the story through the camera. It's their only window. We learned that whatever the camera focuses on becomes important. Focus guides attention and emotion. We learned that bad films show everything, and good films show one thing at a time. Guide the audience, don't make them search. We learned that framing already tells a story before dialogue starts. Composition communicates emotion, power, intimacy, tension, all without words. We learned that wide shots everywhere make scenes feel empty. Use wide shots intentionally. Get close for emotion. We learned how to decide what the audience must see first. Start with what matters most. Reveal slowly. We explored examples. Two people talking, who does the camera side with? And silence, where should the camera rest? We learned that AI gives you more control, not less. You can create exactly what you envision. And we ended with a mental shift. If I move the camera, I am moving the audience's attention. All right, I want you to practice thinking like a director. Step 1, think of a simple scene. It can be anything. Maybe two friends having a difficult conversation, a person receiving good news, someone walking into an empty house, a character making a hard decision. Step 2, write down 5 shots for that scene. For each shot, describe what the camera is showing, close-up, wide shot, medium shot, what the camera is focused on, a face, hands, an object, the environment, why you chose that shot, what emotion or information does it communicate. For example, shot 1, close-up of person A's face, looking nervous. This shows their emotional state immediately. Shot 2, medium shot of person A and person B sitting across from each other with space between them. This shows distance and tension. Shot 3, close-up of person B's hands, clenched into fists. This shows anger and frustration without showing their face yet. And so on. Write out your 5 shots and post them in the comments. Tell us, here's my scene and here are my 5 shots. This exercise will train you to think intentionally about every shot you create. It will train you to guide the audience's attention like a professional. All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking this seriously. You're learning skills that will transform your filmmaking. Remember, the camera is the audience's eyes. You control what they see. You control what they feel. Use that power wisely. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out SAB Studios NG for free music and practical examples. In our next class, we're going to talk about building visual style and consistency, how to make your work look unique and recognizable. Until then, keep thinking, keep creating, keep guiding your audience. I'll see you in the next class.